this second game here. Talon one game away of moving over and booking their ticket into the grand finals. But then I think we're going to game 3. I like T1's lineup. I'm concerned that they are just going to be able to run over this game with the heroes that they've got. There's a lot of synergy with the Lone Druid. You can give the bear the alacrity. You can give the bear the sidekick. They've got winning lanes, which is incredibly important with a lineup that needs to end the game early. An Ancient Apparition Enchantress, they're going to struggle with heroes running at you. Faceless Void 2 will struggle as well. I think T1 are going to be able to take this.
I think T1 have the potential to take it. I think if Talon are going to, it's going to be on the back of this top lane. Like, KP and Q need to dominate this lane. Like, level 3 probably is when we're going to be looking to see some of those timings come out for KP in particular, with the trample, just able to get that through, try and focus down the dazzle. Wonder if they're even, they might just be contesting the runes, but could they be considering some kind of a lane swap, or maybe just starting Whitemon down on this bottom side of the map?
Savage? Already having a fun time to these heroes. Just showcasing how the lane is going to start to shape up. You were mentioning that you feel like Talon need to body top lane against the Honor Lone Druid. Do you feel like they can though? Because Lone Druid and Dazzle are some pretty strong laners.
Yeah, but you're still probably going to be able to... Oh, nice fast clicks there from Anna, being able to secure the bounty rune. I feel like the Dazzle's going to be in a much more vulnerable position. You know, you're one of these supports that, sure, you have a great defensive capabilities once it gets to the mid game, but in the lane, you're wanting to abuse that poison touch for as much as possible. So Whitemon is going to need to be very careful with his positioning, because if he goes forward just a little bit too much one of these times, if KP... Maybe it's going to be up until level 4 that it actually happens, but if you can get that onslaught and trample off onto the Dazzle, then there's really not much you can do about it.
A small adjustment.
We get to see the exciting battle between the mid laners once again, with Makoto on the Void Spirit and Thompson on his Invoker. An Invoker player who, I mean, he's been known to make some incredible plays, Mr. Thompson, on this hero. Pioneered some of the builds, so we'll see how he's going to be able to shape up. It should be a pretty decent matchup, honestly, between the two. As the game goes on, it's very nice for the Void Spirit to be able to get on top of the Invoker, but Thompson will have this slight advantage with being able to purge off the Resonant Pulse Shield.
Especially now that it's been buffed up a little bit. Just the Aghanim Scepter being able to add to the amount absorbed rather than just refresh the base amount. Feels nice for all the Void Spirit players out there.
I think this lane is very skill dependent. If Makoto hits a couple of Aether Remnants and is able to put Thompson in a threshold where he's a little bit weak, then he might be able to get more last hits. But if he misses some Remnants, it could be a little bit more difficult with how he's going to be able to fare in this lane. But we'll take a look at our side lanes for the moment with how top is shaping up. You said this was the all-important lane here for Talon. What are we looking for in regards to the level timings? When can they get active?
I mean, they can get active as early as level 2, depending on the positioning. Nice deny coming through there from the Venomous Gale. Just the one skill point on both of these heroes right now that's an active, so time dilation's not going to do the most. But yeah, like it's going to depend on Whitemon's positioning. If he's out of position, then an onslaught into a trample can end up killing him. But that's not going to happen until level 3, because 99% of the time you're going up roll level 1 just because of how effective it is at buffing up your damage for the laning stage.
And with the bottom lane, we already see Savage leveling up a point in the time dilation. Do you feel like, is there ever a reason for him to go an extra level in a lane like this in particular because of Venomancer?
No, I don't think so necessarily. I think he just wants to be using that time walk as much as possible. Whenever you're against like these ranged, oppressive heroes, time lock isn't really the biggest value to get in the lane. So I think it's mostly just about the survivability. Hyde's going to be doing a lot of the pressuring and the damage. Just want to be able to get that safe farm as much as possible.
See both supports on bottom, recognizing their role. Therefore, he blocks the hard camp instead of the small camp, so making sure Hyde's not going to be able to play with any of the creeps. He does have some camps back towards the outpost, however.
Getting the Vul Assassin, trying to bully away Zephyr here a little bit. I hate this creep so much, man. It's so annoying whenever you got a tango running. In terms of that mid lane that you were talking about before, it really does feel like Topson's going to have a fine enough time in this lane, though, right? You mentioned that if he gets low on the back of some Aether Remnants, scratch that, he's actually getting a few right clicks in the face.
Nice dodge, Makoto with the dissimulate. He's got the right click range. All the new heroes can hit from afar, and you see that is exactly the case here. As Makoto finds a solo kill, and he'll get a tip as well from Hyde. Beautifully done.
Caster Curse strikes again. Just able to get the kill. I mean, it's Makoto, right? Number 1 in SC8 for a reason. And he's even going to be able to secure that water rune for himself once he's picked up this bottle. What's he got coming out to him? Just the boots and the raindrops. I like it. I want to be able to withstand some of that pressure coming through from Topson, but I really feel like that shouldn't be happening. You know, that's only on the back of getting hit by the Aether Remnant. Otherwise, your Quas, you're ranged, pretty equivalent in terms of the right-click damage that you're able to do, so for Makoto to get that early kill, that is just heavily based on the skill.
Top lane, Whitemon. A bit of trouble here, KP. Trampling all over the Dazzle. This is something you were mentioning, that Whitemon's going to have some issues with his positioning in this lane. The Selv's going to be cancelled off instantly. KP needs one more right click, and again, one of the new heroes being able to right click from afar.
I wonder if they actually... Sounds weird, but did he want to die? I don't really feel like it. He's got more than half mana, but you had a skill point available on Ana at the time, and he didn't choose to put it into the Savage Roar, which would have saved.
He's in a bit of trouble as well. They're going to try and chase him down in the tree line. Zephyr will finally re-enter the lane, but great Delta split. They'll avoid the jump in from Zephyr, and the toss, it'll only send the Conqueror packing. Oh, they're even considering about TPing the Dazzle down, but he's not going to look to join them, so it's just going to be the 2 members on T1 at the moment. Savage, time dilation once again, and he just gets the time walk away, but now Q, he's going to enter the party. He'll have the Ancient Apparition as a little bit of an unfair advantage. It was a 2-on-2. It was nice and even, but now with the position 4 coming down, Talon, they'll get that +1 required to kill off the Marcy.
You got another Centaur Conqueror here from Hyde. They might just look to go in onto Cuckoo. He's still very slow at this stage, and you don't really want to be using the Venomous Gale just onto a singular support. That's just free reign. Oh, he's actually using the Gale onto the Conqueror instead. Is he just dead here?
He's going to try. He should make the TP.
Away. But I mean, now what do you get out of this lane?
Are they going to be able to chase down Makoto? One more right-click Whitemon just out of range to be able to reapply the poison attack. Zephyr can toss him back, but it will not matter. Makoto I want to pop the DD for some of the bottle sips, and he will not need to. So Talon...
I mean, this bottom lane, you specifically picked this Venomancer to be dominating the lane, and it certainly isn't the case. Faceless Void, second on net worth. Cuckoo on his Veno, all the way down at the bottom of the cores.
And this is exactly what you need for Talon, because this Faceless Void will take a long time to come online. And T1, they have a lineup that want to end the game early. So the fact that Savage is going to get an item earlier than probably what they would be expecting when they were looking at the draft.
Yeah, for sure. He's even looking to go into the Midas as well, playing around that standard Talon style, right? There's no amazing heroes that are going to have damage going inside the Chronosphere super early on, so he just wants to be a little bit more passive. He wants to be able to farm up the jungle, open up the map a bit more for Enchantress, AA, to get some of those early-ish levels.
Feels like we're going to be putting a lot of attention onto Tops in this game to make his rotations. I was mentioning he was a bit of a pioneer of some particular Invoker builds, and I'm seeing it treads into a Falcon Blade. I'm yet to see this. Maybe some of the other regions in their qualifiers have pulled this out, but see how this is able to shape out for the Coswex Invoker.
Does mean that you're able to keep up somewhat in scaling, though, which is always nice whenever you're an Invoker and you're not going down the Midas route. So maybe just wants to be a little bit more brawling-oriented, considering that you're playing it with a Veno, you're playing with a Lone Druid, very early timings. Same sort of thing with a Marcy.
Are they going to dive Topson? And Makoto, he commits with the double ultimate. Makoto's now stuck under the T1 tower. A Remnant will provide a little bit of distance away. Couple more right clicks. And now with a poison touch, but Savage! What a rotation! The Chrono clipping 3. They've got Q nearby as well. Talon! They're on the ball in the second game. Even KP said, screw it. I'll come join the mid-team fight as well as Talon. 6-0 start.
But top side, they've left it kind of solo here. Ana, as soon as that happens, just with that Blightstone, the Gloves of Haste, immediately goes into full-on rat mode. He wants to make sure that you're getting something in exchange for this, and well, that's a free tower taken with just one person. Are they going to look to respond with everyone for this? They actually end up cancelling the TP. Who is that on?
Invoker.
Is that on Thompson?
So Thompson's not going to be here. And now they can just chase down Zephyr. Another kill for Talon. T1 tower claim mid. Uh-oh, this is not how the lanes were supposed to go.
Ana's playing very aggressively, just wanting to push this lane as quickly as he can into the tower. Be able to back off down towards the bottom side. So some valuable net worth going away. And better yet, the experience. But now he's just... this is the game on Ana. Previously, it felt like Thompson was doing all of the heavy lifting, but he's having a decent start here. Going to look to try and run down the AA, and probably will. No use in... I doesn't even have the TP, but wouldn't have been able to accomplish anything with it either. But if you could take away 2 tier 1 towers, then things don't feel so dire for them. They're going to be able to come back into this game.
Mid lane, Thompson, he's going to be in some trouble here. Makoto gets a jump, a nice sidestep. Thompson should be able to hold them back with the tornado, but Talon, they're still pushing on forward. So only Cuckoo with the rotation at the moment. We have the power rune for another 20 seconds as well, so both sides will themselves back away.
Another tower.
Has fallen.
Yeah, that kill as well down bottom gave some urn charges to Cuckoo. One thing I'm a bit concerned about is Thompson does have an urn queued up, however. So we'll see if it looks like he has committed into it. And Circuit's nothing crazy, but didn't have it.
Yeah, you can just get a null tally.
Yeah. KP, very close to getting the onslaught onto the TP.
He's buying it. He's buying it.
Look, it's really nice stats. So, I mean, Cuckoo's just going to be forced to backpack it every time. Look, it is. Come on, man.
Bro.
1.4 mana regen, 2 all attributes, 2 armor. The stats are incredible. Like, it's a very, very cheap item. What it provides you is nice, especially with a Venom who does have some mana issues. And so I feel like you're okay with it. Just backpack it. You don't backpack it, then we got some issues.
Okay, so how long until you think Cuckoo is demanded to sell this this Earth that he's got right now?
No, he's not going to sell it. If he doesn't backpack it like 2 times. I'll hold that thought mid lane. This is not an easy kill at all. And you see Makoto recognizes how his... Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if he doesn't backpack his urn like maybe a couple times and they make the mistake, then he'll be told to sell it. KP? Bit of trouble. Try and onslaught away, but that will be stopped instantly from T1. A much needed kill to get them on the board.
All right, Thompson got the urn charges. He still doesn't know maybe about the situation. Well, hopefully for T1's sake, doesn't come back to bite them. Of course, it does allow for a whole lot more of that chain stun, considering how lacking they are in it. Maybe now they can look to go for a few more of these +1 pickoffs. But like I was saying before, up against this Void Spirit, Faceless Void, even the Primal Beast to a lesser extent, you need Zephyr to be there if you're going to get any kind of lockdown happening.
What can we expect out of Ana and his timings in this game? Because we do see he's pretty much one of the few cores on T1 that he's getting a ridiculous amount of farm, working to the Desolator as his next item. Is that Deso going to be enough for T1 to start to group up?
I don't think the Deso is for the purpose of T1 grouping up. I think he's just going to continue playing full rat mode. He just needs to try and do that to drive Talon away from putting pressure onto the Venomancer and the Invoker. They need time to be able to come back into this game, and that's what the rat style is going to do. It's going to force defensive rotations, which means that Thompson, Cuckoo, they're going to be able to pick up a little bit of that extra farm. Honestly, even Zephyr as well. They're prioritizing him to get a decent amount of net worth too.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Response coming through. Not wanting to
might
give
be
up
able
this
to beat
bear
the
for
bear.
free.
Yeah, Makoto's in a bit of trouble here if they can keep the roots going. Zephyr's going to look to jump in. But a great jump out from Makoto, and they do end up getting the bear kill. Now, to the top side of the map we go is Cuckoo. Gets the poison over off. It's going to clip onto both the heroes here, but Savage feels like he has an opening to drop the Chronosphere. Makoto's going to be nearby with a double damage rune. He'll use the Remnant onto Cuckoo, then they'll be able to turn to deal with the Dazzle. Beautifully done from Talon as they bring 4 members to be able to take the skirmish top.
Nana immediately looking to try and go into the mid push, but you've at
Look at
least got
Thompson's
people
positioning.
around this time. Yeah.
He's got Zephyr nearby. We'll be
Don't
able
have
to
the
dispel
lockdown.
off the double damage rune. Makoto, he
Stayed
goes
in.
in. And now he's out of ultimate charges, so Anna, he can freely charge him down. They'll give the Alacrity over to the bear, but once again, the 8th, the Remnant, buying enough valuable time for Makoto just to get out of danger. Hey, he resummoned this bear. This is important. Getting blast. They even give the movement speed
Makoto's
as
committing.
well.
So close. Would have been a full minute without that bear. Effectively a useless position 1, but, well, it is, again, a much more defensive movement that's forced out of Talon. They really wanted to make sure that they were maintaining their tier 1 mid. Of course, whenever they get the opportunity to do that, it means that Cuckoo is able to sit up top, holding on to his urn with 0 charges in it at the moment. Thompson needs to get into that Witchblade. They need some of that consistent damage coming out that's just going to be consistent across the Time Walk, that's going to be going through the Resonant Pulse Shield, just preventing a lot of these Talon heroes from being a lot tankier than they have any right to be.
I think, oh, T1 just smoked onto the ward. 23 Savage will be okay. I think for T1, really, the big thing for them is they need to take this Tier 1 tower mid and then start to ward around Roche. You have this Deso coming up shortly, you know, with the 1 point Alacrity, nothing crazy, but you have maxed out the sidekick, so you will be able to take objectives, but you need the Tier 1 down first to be able to open that opportunity. And there we go. Some wards down.
They're going to look to do that. Seeing as well, are we just finished up the Deso on...
No, I don't think so.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
One more Mithril Hammer, I believe.
Okay, one more Mithril Hammer. I mean, it's a decent enough timing, but the thing is, it's going to become so much more difficult for T1 as soon as KP gets into the BKB for himself. He's only about 1,000 gold away from being able to do so, and once he's got that, you're just able to dive in. Nothing that they've got is going to be able to stop the tramples from, again, just going in onto the backline and creating a ton of havoc. That's where Faceless Void is in his absolute prime, where he's just able to play within chaos.
Look at the farm they're getting across the map on Talon. KP gets all of the triangle. Meanwhile, T1, they tried to invade Radiant's triangle, but the Ancients hadn't spawned. The hard camp wasn't there as well, so Ana has to run to meet the creep wave up top, so a little bit of time that he wasn't getting farmed. The rest of T1 are also grouping up at the moment, so this net worth lead continuing to grow for Talon. It's up to 5,000 now.
I'm going to need to pull these creeps off of the tower, though. Don't want to have too much free damage going into that one. I have to ask as well, are we even calling it the triangle anymore? Because it was the triangle because there were 3 camps to farm, and now there's no small camp. So what is it now? Is it a line?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sticking with triangle. It's easy. I think everyone knows it kind of by that now.
What if we called it something and then it could be our thing, you know? Like
so
Slack's
has,
calling the Radiant Tier 2 tower at bot lane the Jeff Hill. He tried to call this stand.
When did he try and do that?
A couple of days
I've
ago.
never heard that. Oh, okay. That's a big item for Makoto now to complete. Scepter coming out on the courier. They're going to chuck the Ice Boss up the top. Maybe feeling like KP can jump on it. TP's coming in as well. Ice Boss won't connect. Let's see if they're still going to go for the Druid. No, not the case. KP just wants to clean up. I really like how Dire are playing. Like, invading the jungle. They're incredibly strong right now, even though they are 5,000 gold behind. I think one pick off and they can go into Roche. I don't believe they can do it right now because of all the ultimates still available for Talon.
They seem to think they can.
This is scary, man. They could definitely execute the fight and prove me wrong, but with all of the AoE ultimates that Talon have, this is going to be a very difficult Roche if Talon do contest it.
Has Hyde got any creeps to be able to play with? Maybe that was why they just emphasized so much in making sure that they took away at least the medium camp from the... I'm not calling it a triangle. The area, the Radiant Ancient area, because that would have allowed them to just scout this out much more easily. So just little plays like that, preventing the engagement inside the area. Early smoke coming through, just allowing Ana to finish off the Roche for themselves, maybe trying to catch them off guard.
Yeah, not What a catch, Makoto. The chain control has to be ever so perfect, and he's lost mana now, Makoto. Actually still got enough to be able to get the astral step away. No way! Thompson Invoker. What? Oh my lord.
Read like a book. And they know we're savages as well.
Oh my lord, beautifully done from T1. You get Roche, you get a crazy kill onto the Void Thrower thanks to Thompson's Invoker. This is why you pick him this hero.
Indeed, and they know exactly, like I was saying before, where Savage is. They know he's playing to the right-hand side there. They just need to watch out for any sorts of TPs coming through, but sidekick on a bear that's already life-stealing so much naturally with the Mask of Madness, and now the Desolator. This is one of the big strengths that they've got, just able to melt these towers.
Hang on, he's going to just charge into the middle. KP, suppose with a fresh BKB completed, so he feels strong enough. Look at the T2 tower. Very nicely done for T1. This is a lot of their timing here off the back of the Aegis. They need to continue to play aggressively across the map. You want to fight here though on Talon. You got a great wall to the high ground. KP's just going to look to try and target down with the Venomancer. So with the Ice Blast following up forward as well. Cuckoo's going to charge into the middle to at least get the poison over off before they secure the kill. And T1, they can turn it around though if they get a couple lucky roots out, and they will do just that onto the Primal Beast. But towards the northern side, Thompson, he's being caught out. He's in trouble at the moment, but Savage, he doesn't even get the Chrono off. Pump faked it for the first time. The Cold Stat was able to disrupt the second use, and they kill off the Faceless Void. But can they catch up to Makoto though? Into the tree line, a perfect timing with the Dissimulate. He will have an ultimate charge up shortly, so Makoto should be fine.
Can't afford to give your life up like that though on Savage. Doesn't have the BKB finish just yet.
They see Makoto under the ward.
Can they kill him though? He's got a lot of those charges back up, all cooldowns available.
Daytime.
Very quick fingers.
Honestly, maybe if it was still nighttime, he would have been able to get that kill, but turning today at a perfect timing. Thompson, what's he lose? Just the Ogre Axe on the Courier. Not close to anything. Hide! We'll be alright. We got a ball game here. We're starting to get a little bit out of control, but again, T1, they've got Aegis for still another 2 minutes 30, so they are in fighting shape. They can get a lot more map control off the back of this.
Savage has got to be careful where he's positioning as well. The vision right now that Talon have is kind of minimal, and they haven't really revealed on the map too much on T1, so he's going to move on forward solo though, just trying to push this lane out a little bit, play around with the rest of his team, just trying to act as bait. He knows how juicy of a prospect he is, but bot lane, I feel like that is a much sweeter option rather than just getting a single kill onto the Faceless Void. This is a high reward, low risk play when you've got a lone druid as farmed as this, as well as a double creep wave with the siege creep.
Yeah, and they're going to go high ground. Why not? Got the Plague Wards to be able to set themselves up. You've got the Alacrity on the bear. You can even chuck out the sidekick as well. This bear is going to do a lot of damage. Talon need to address it.
Can they hold long enough for Savage to just get 200 gold for that BKB to finish this up before he's able to fight?
Well, they're going to target down the bear instead. Look at the poke damage from afar. They don't even have to heavily commit. Grave, will it survive? Ice Blast as well, but no, the bear goes down. Very nicely done. Honestly, dude, this Ancient Apparition with the Ice Shard and Match Shard Ice Vortex, he's going to get a lot of farm. We see how difficult it is to siege into this.
Oh yeah, it's very, very good. You can just sit yourself in the jungle, still have that full global impact because you've got your Ice Shards. Really cold feet, the Chilling Touch, they don't do much in a lot of these team fights. So yeah, a greedy support is really enabled by picking this Ancient Apparition, specifically against all of this regen and healing that they've got on T1 side. But they were able to get the BKB up on 23 Savage, so now he's able to fight. He's able to fight a little bit, play a little bit more around the rest of his team, just in case a fight does break out. He really wants that Aghanim Shard, though. He wants to be able to consistently have that impact in a lot of these team fights to perhaps force out some unideal BKB and spell usages.
T1, they just smoked under Observer Ward.
Yeah. They just wanted to bait this out for as long as they can. They'll have the timer ticking down basically right on the 23-minute mark. Then they might even look to go for a crazy engagement in, just popping Hyde on the front lines. He's going to be the first one that identifies any kind of smoke play and just good, solid, consistent positioning coming through from Talon this game.
I like this call from T1 though. Like, they scan on the high ground, recognizing that Talon are up there, and they cannot address that. So they're just going to look to go bottom instead. Force them back away from their power position. I don't believe they can commit though, because we saw what happened last time with the Bear, and you don't have the Aegis now. So as long as you just force Talon away from this powerful spot that they were playing in, now T1 can get a little bit of the jungle control. And really for me, I feel like T1 are just trying to wait out till Roche spawns. I don't think they're strong now to take team fights until they have the second life again.
Yeah, it really does feel like they want this AC as well, minimum, on Ana, just to make that push even easier, even just providing a little bit more of that sustain for the rest of your team against the eventual right-click damage that's coming out from the Faceless Void. Even Enchantress to a slightly lesser extent. I guess she's got the impetus, but if you got the BKBs running, it helps out a little bit too.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's a Venomancer enhancer.
It's a
Cuckoo
interesting item.
did go into that pipe we were talking about, pipe or the Wraith Pact, so really wouldn't hate seeing him go into the Wraith Pact next. Feels like this is the item that he was more comfortable in getting into right now, just so that you can commit yourself. 30% magic resistance without even popping the barrier does feel quite significant.
With that Aeon disc, and it does look like the Vlad's into the Wraith Pact queued up afterwards as well. Another interesting item is KP going to the Scepter. It does provide the break as well, if it's able to get that connection with the little projectiles that are released. So if you get that onto the Lone Jewel, that's going to be really nice to mitigate some of the damage.
Mm-hmm.
Have you checked Ana's Bear's name as well, by the way?
Have a look. Oh. Very interesting. Well, I can verify a few of those stats.
Top lane, Thompson. Looks like they're going to be able to get the jump onto the Evoker. Zephyr's nearby to maybe get some bonus movement speed out. But the Ice Blast will connect. With the global potential, thanks to Q, they're going to be able to bring down Thompson's Invoker. And it looks like Hyde will successfully TP out as well and drop some voice lines in the meantime.
Hasta luego, see you later, he says, and, well, he even puts up the high five as he makes his great escape. Just, again, really good map play coming out from Talon right now, and it's not like they don't really care about going into the super later stages of this game, right? Because Faceless Void, one of the best heroes for the ultra late game, as long as you're not getting caught out by that initial stun. Even an Enchantress is going to be a fourth core, essentially.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Speaking about the Enchantress, he's going to look to pair up with 23 Savage. Easy kill onto Zephyr. A little bit more gold into the bank of that kind of pseudo position 3 that we have from Hyde. Level 12, almost Hurricane Pike. Yeah, definitely feels like Talon are more than happy with being able to head into the late game T1. This is, for me, it comes down to this second Roche. If they're unable to get this Aegis, I feel like their lineup has just missed their timing.
Yeah, and speaking of timings, KP, he's got that Aghanim Scepter completed in about a couple of seconds, so that's just so much extra damage that you've got coming out. All those additional projectiles and the break. Pretty significant too, for the reasons that we mentioned against the Lone Druid specifically. I wonder, it looks like he's going into the Wraith Pact and the Aeon Disc on Cuckoo. You have to wonder, like, if they're able to get this second Roche, what do you go into? Do you give the Aghanim Shard over to the Dazzle, or do you give it to the Venomancer just to try and catch them out with the with using the BKB, or even just the Uproar on KP for the level 15 talent, just to give them that little bit of an extra stun, you know?
Yeah, I'm actually not quite sure who they give it to, because I think there's even an argument to be made for Thompson to take it. Maybe because he's not too close to the level 20 talent. That extra 80% Chaos Meteor damage is a lot. Mid lane, Ice Blast onto Ana. Makoto's going to be able to jump as well. Ana, he wasn't ready for it. An unsuspecting move from Talon, and they just blow up the Lone Druid. And that is as soon as Roshan spawns.
Be able to go right on in. They want to take away some of this vision, but Cuckoo positioning himself fairly well. They're going to jump in off Hyde.
Into the river. Look at the alacrity damage coming out from Zephyr, but the Chronosphere eclipse off to Thompson, but he's able to get the protection off. They don't have the damage at the moment thanks to the BKB. Let's see if Thompson's going to be able to continue to run himself away. The respect coming out from Talon. They will not enter the high ground Instead, they're going to deal with the heroes that are still caught outside in the
low.
river. Zephyr is able to jump on forward, but Cuckoo, he doesn't have this capability. They should be able to chase him down. The onslaught into the middle, but a perfect
what a tornado.
as Thompson breaks the combination. As T1, they've successfully avoided that attempt. What a beautiful move from them. They dealt the split away. Thompson back to the high ground. Cuckoo in the middle, just soaking up abilities. And now Arna's back alive to look to take this Roshan.
Thompson, by far the MVP of that team fight. He was just kiting around Makoto, even able to get him on the retreat. It's all around just protecting this Observer Ward, and when you've got an Ancient Apparition, I feel like it should be a lot easier than it was. Ice Vortex on the top, you've got an Enchantress with a Dragon Lance, excuse me, and they just stuck around kind of dipping their toe in rather than just diving in completely. It's the power of that vision again, man.
Now we do see Aghanim Shard was given over to Thompson. He's got that couple of meteors to be landed down as well. Also reduces the cooldown by 15 and ages into the hands of Ana. I was saying this second Roche had to be given over to T1. If they weren't able to find it, they would be in a very difficult position for their lineup to be able to combat Talon in the late game. But they've got second Roche, and we again have a pretty close ball game here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
For sure. This time around, at least they have something that's able to put this tempo up. I mean, look at the speed that they're able to take some of these towers. Just getting about 5 hit by the Spirit Bear that shall not be named.
They again can poke the bear, but then they need to protect him. They're going to do just that. The jump onto KP. KP's gone.
He couldn't be
KP.
KB.
No opportunities. Now Hyde, he's also getting chased down by the bear. Shan's going to be able to slow it down for the moment, but the tier 3's already been melted. Zephyr is into the middle. The Enchantress posturing aggressively. Makoto's going to look to buy in some time, but Savage to the back. Gets the Chrono onto 3. It's on the saving support as well. There's going to be no grave to keep them alive. As Savage, he can now turn to try and deal with Cuckoo. A 4-staff into the tree line, but it's not enough. As Savage now, he'll turn his attention towards the Lone Druid off the back of the respawn. Arna's got nothing to keep him healthy. As Talon, what an incredible high ground defense. They say, screw your Aegis advantage. We can fight into it even down KP.
And man, just getting the perfect counter initiation coming through there from Savage, and they had the damage to come through. It's a pretty scary high ground to have to go into, but I mean, it just shows the advantage of what happens if you're clumping up just that little bit too much. High ground, probably the scariest area to be if you're playing on this Dazzle. Can't be that far behind, and well, you saw what happens when you get a little bit too close as well. This is really on a knife's edge right now. It feels like any single time that T1 win a team fight, it's going to be a full lane of racks, but Talon, excuse me, their team fight is just so far superior.
I mean, that was incredible. They just baited the Enchantress. Hyde was able to 4-staff out. They got the Ice Blast onto 2. And we're not even mentioning the Chrono, which was clipped 3 and got the saving support. And then the Enchantress could just start pummeling into them. Like, this is looking really scary now for T1. They're going to have to pull something crazy out of the hat.
They've got a lot of mobility as well, just to be able to get away from the Marcy, to be able to get away from even the Venomancer to a lesser extent, from the Roots, from the Spirit Bear. You've got the Ogre Seal Totem, and you've got 3 separate 4-staffs in addition to the mobility on Faceless Void and Void Spirit. So it's very clear the MO coming through here from Talon. It's just kite around these fights as much as possible. And well, they're doing a pretty good job so far. Anytime one of these big team fights break out, it always seems to be them on the winning end. It's just they haven't as yet been able to take advantage of it in terms of map control. That's still in T1's favor. Bottom lane fairly well pushed in. They might need to deal with top lane a little bit on T1, especially
Ice Blast onto 3. Oh my lord. Okay, Makoto not gonna fall up. Has already used a couple of his abilities. Cuckoo's on the prowl though. T1 are gonna connect as well. Makoto's in a lot of trouble. They're gonna be able to capitalize. As Talon get a little bit too antsy, they feel like there was an opening for them to take a fight with that ward on the higher ground, and well, that'll result in Makoto going down.
No glyph available, bro. They don't have the refresh either. This could be 2 lanes of racks, honestly, just off of 1 death. one bit of poor positioning coming through from Makoto, who he just bought out an item quite recently, the Kaya. So nowhere close to having that buyback.
They will have the chrono up in 8, so I think they can defend.
They're still playing scared. Ana was actually just a little bit too far away from the bear to even be hitting the tower. Kind of nutty, and someone might need to TP up towards this top side of the map to be able to deal with this push. Creep wave will do it a little bit, but it really feels like T1 could have potentially gotten so much more out of this push.
We have Makoto spawning up shortly, so Talon will be playing with the full force. Be able to combat into T1, who is still posturing aggressively inside Radiant's territory. In fact, it's going to be T1 that smoke first. They see KP at the moment. But is that the hero you want to jump? In fact, they're going to look for the wraparound. It's illusion to work with, nothing too crazy.
The Wraith Pact on Cuckoo as well. So that is a significant factor if he's able to drop that and the pipe as these initiations are coming in on Savage. But
they're going to try and hide. Maybe with the damage coming through for the meatball as well, they're secure with the kill, but Savage, he gets a chrono onto both the cores.
Oh, the
ice bot as well. It'll click onto Ana, but they haven't been able to blow anyone up throughout the ultimate, so maybe they're going to be cautious here on Talon if they want to stick around. KP, a lot of damage out of the Pulverize, going to try and chase him down, but down to the south side. Tops him. He'll secure with the kill onto the support, but they're still going to be cautious here. Thompson will be able to reposition thanks to the bonus movement speed. The Deafening Blast will push back the Faceless Void as well. Savage, he doesn't want to let them go for free. Another time walk on forward. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up. Are they considering this, Thompson? What shenanigans are you up to here? How can you pull out of the hat to try and kill off the Faceless Void? And, well, he won't even stick around to make the attempt. But the ultimate on cooldown for the Marcy, they will be lacking the damage, so another kill for 23 Savage.
Just, I want to see the replay, but I want to keep my eyes on this bottom lane just because you've got Thompson on his Faceless Void still hanging around the area. But if we do get a chance to replay, maybe now if we can, I also want you to put your eyes onto Makoto. They don't hit the perfect Chronosphere. It doesn't hit onto everyone. Dazzle is actually outside of it. But rather than laying damage into it, make sure to get the silence off with the Aghanim Scepter, with the Aether Remnant. You still eventually get it off, but the damage has been done. They're able to pick off a lot of these targets. You keep away the healing. It just results in such a victorious team fight. Great team play once again, realizing what his job is needing in the middle of these team fights. They've got plenty of damage without the Void Spirit.
See how messy these fights can look, though. With KP charging somewhere, Savage jumping, Makoto doing the same thing as well. Savage is already level 25, man. What the hell? He's 6 levels ahead of the second highest in this game. 23 Savage is having a hell of a game here in the upper bracket final. 7, 1, and 9. Look at the GPN from him. 740. He's well and truly on top, and I'm not quite surprised. I mean, his Faceless Void is always something to fear. They tried to counter it. They've got the lineup to deal with it early, but now that he came online, now that he had an incredible lane, like, we're seeing the issues with killing off and dealing with the Void.
Kodo making sure Savage knows about it. The greedy mid tipping the inconsistent carry coming through here from the two that have previously been shunned by some other members within the SEA region, but they're certainly turning it out in this game so far. Maybe we should call him 25 Savage just because of how quickly he's able to hit up onto a lot of these high levels.
Good old Midas. What an item. He's going to go Link. I was going to say, is he going to go Refresher next? Oh, he's already got Refresher. Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
What if he got
so
two?
Farmed.
What if he could refresh the Refresher?
Oh, that'd be a lot of mana. I don't know what you would do. You might have some issues. What do? You chuck your boots in your backpack or your Midas when it's on cool? Oh, I mean, I don't know. Attack speed's both are really nice in the Void. You just hold triple mangoes.
Hold the Pupil's Gift as well for the extra stats.
Well, Savage now with a second Chrono for T1 to deal with. Can they actually deal with it, man? I don't know, because Savage has been clipping multiple heroes, what feels like in every single Chronosphere.
It's been a couple of games in a row now where T1 have gone for this, like, pick-off domination, but not necessarily the team fight control, you know? And it's a couple of times now where Talon have identified that big weakness and they've just said, okay, well, if they're not going to have a bunch of stuns, then we just go a lot of ways to be able to get out of it, you know? Primal Beast, plenty tanky. What's he going into? Is that a Shivas that he's picking up, or is it just a casual plate mail on KP? But did Savage just refresh for nothing?
I don't
His
know what the
Chrono
status...
had like 20 seconds left.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, I don't know what the stat... It was for the Midas. Come on
Sure.
now. Think smarter.
Let's go with that.
Come on.
I'm not thinking like a carry.
Yeah, it's just a support mentality you have. No.
Who would want an ultimate like Chrono in a team fight, you know?
Oh my lord. Alright, well, we see T1. Name of the game for them is just looking to split push the map. This mid lane's going to take a little bit of damage. Alacrity on the catapult. It's going to take a lot of damage, actually. Someone's forced to come back.
Kite will be able to deal with it. They're trying to hunt.
They
back up to be able to do it.
They actually, I think, I'm not sure if T1 can 5v5 now at this stage of the game. I think you really have to be considering about trying to split up the map, which is exactly what they're doing, and just looking for the rat play. Because they will push incredibly fast. And even if like a Marcy's there or the Invoker's there with the bear, you just give the Alacrity or Sidekick over. I actually do not think T1 can 5v5 at this stage of the game. So it's potentially something they need to consider.
And that's what Anna thinks as well. Look at his quick buy. He's going into the Aghanim Scepter, so he wants to be able to just throw the bear into a lot of these engagements without putting himself in harm's way.
I was going to say, Q showing's going to be cautious. In fact, it's the bear that is in a bit of trouble. Would have been an easy kill, especially with KP using the Pulverize for that. He's got a resummon on Ana, but this is 2 minutes without now a second bear. And this is where Talon have got a big opportunity. I guess you're lucky that Roche is not spawning for another 2 minutes, so they might get away with it.
Other big timing's coming. I mean, the true form on the Lone Druid is kind of nice, so maybe Ana's just going to try and bait out his position a bunch of times, where you basically only have like a 10-second downtime on the true form, which I mean, you could just put yourself in team fights, make yourself a much higher priority, and just have the Lone Druid bear on the other side of the map. I think that's how I would be looking to play this one. Once you pick up the axe, of course. Even Q getting very farmed going into the Scythe of Vice, which we've seen a bunch of times. I think, was it Q last time that we saw him go into that super greedy item that ended up paying up for him? I feel like it might have been. Or Xiao Bonbon, I think it might have been.
What, in the qualifiers so far?
Yeah.
There was one where JG on the Conquer. But support, I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
I want to say it was Xiao Bonbon.
A lot of games that have been going on. We are getting towards the tail end here of the qualifiers. Second final day, the upper bracket final, and Talon, they are a couple fights away of booking their ticket into the grand finals. T1 we see. We're going to try and buy some time for them to get towards these next set of items, but again, Talon, they're also getting stronger and stronger.
They are indeed. Just keeping these lanes shoved out as much as possible. Trying to make some rotations here. Optimistic play coming through there, and well, now he won't have the BKB considering Roshan's up in 15 seconds. You've got the Hill Troll waiting inside, and that is exactly what Talon are playing around constantly. T1 doing their best to try and rat out the other sides of the map, force again that defensive movement, but it won't be quick enough. They won't be able to get that true map control, or maybe they will. I mean, Zephyr's backing him up just for the sidekick to be able to enable a little bit more of that burst damage, and good play coming down here from Q, just trying to delay things out as much as he can. Trying to get a pick off on.
Look at the instant TPs. Uh-oh. T1, you gotta get out. Zephyr's like, all right, my job's just to get the tier 3 tower, but Savage, his job is trying to catch up to the bear. We'll find the slow. He's gonna get the bash as well. Looks like the Savage roll will get some distance away. Instant smoke out of Talon though. We've got a 4-on-4 across the map, but they do see T1 in the river.
A disc picked up by Makoto as well. So he can afford to be even more of a menace. Actually, bottom side though, it's pushing all the way in. Ping's starting to come out. I don't know if you want to go for this without your Void Spirit. He is such a key impact in terms of what it means for controlling the Dazzle and the backlines if the Chronos aren't perfect. And he's been playing well so far, Savage, but I don't think you can put that much pressure onto him.
So second observer that just got dewarded as well in the mid lane. So T1 aren't going to have too much vision to play with if a fight does break out.
He's got the Ags now on Ana, though. He's going to constantly be looking to make these rat plays happen with his Spirit Bear. Just keeping this bot lane shoved in. If he can look to play a little bit more around the Roche pit, perhaps, just so that if they need to, he's able to recall it and instantly join in onto the team fight, that'd be big. They're playing around this double siege creep wave as well, but Talon aren't wanting to wait until it has enough time to have a true impact. Onto the high ground is KP. It's fine, it's tactical.
Oh, he's going to walk on forward. A 4-star breaks the combo. Savage going to try and catch up to Whitemon as well. Going to be able to get some distance away, but Cuckoo's the one that's in it. Some trouble here is Cuckoo. He'll go down. Meanwhile, the Chronosphere to the north, though. Savage. He found two heroes, but he didn't catch out Thompson. The Invoker starting to get the combinations going. Meanwhile, in the middle of the fight, they're
these bashes.
Points the bash onto 23 Savage. And now T1, they need to get more. They committed heavily off the back of these buybacks. They should be able to catch up to Q. Juking down to the south, but the buyback coming out for the Faceless Void. T1 need to respect the capability of Savage rejoining them. KP.
He's got the BKB again, and the Chrono again. He used the Refresher previously, so that's what he's wanting to play around. Looks like they'll have to TP back a little bit. They got the Illusion Runes, forcing out bot lane a little bit, but they know that this Roshan is the big objective, man. They got very lucky with some of those bashes coming through, but it's all in the back of Zephyr, going for this Abyssal Blade. Once he pops that Unleash, you're almost
Hang on,
guaranteeing the chain
Savage.
lock.
He's got another round of the BKB. Thompson might look to try and bring down the Primal Beast. Savage has the Chrono again. He popped the Refresher, but Whitemon's on the outskirts. He should be able to play around with the Grave, but the Ice Blast is going to prevent Thompson from being able to survive. So he's going to look to deal as much damage possible before they secure the kill. Meanwhile, still inside the middle of the lane, though, Cuckoo, he's the one that's in trouble. A 4-star, but it doesn't get enough distance away. He's in the middle of it all. Maybe with Ana nearby to try and help out the Bear. Once again, locking onto his target. But a Dissimulate will get them out. KP, he wants to go in though. He cancels the Pulverize, so somehow Cuckoo's still alive. And this is enabling Ana to have a free fight. We're seeing what the Bear can do once he's able to get onto his target. Thompson, he's going to jump in though. Thompson, he knows no way to stop.
He's going to eventually be forced to, though. The team just not feeling confident with all those buybacks being expended. Ana hanging around the Roche pit, and this would be really valuable to be giving over to Thompson. Spending that buyback just to be able to get back into this and be able to quickly close in enough. KP has the BKB to be able to play around with. Is he going to be quick enough, though? They'll hear the charge coming through.
They're going to get the Ice Blast to charge in as well. KP to disrupt.
He's
KP
got
gets
it.
the Aegis as well. He snagged up the Aegis and Immortal. Now Makoto's going to jump into the middle. They need to keep Thompson alive.
He got everything.
BKB gets some distance. The Invoker should be able to step up to the high ground thanks to the Ghost Block, and he's okay. Can they set themselves up for round 2 though on T1? The Bear, priority number 1. They'll drag it back with the Remnant. The damage is stacking up for high, but it's not enough to get the summon. And in fact, Ana's going to look to TP out the Bear, but the use of the Pulverize, it'll keep it locked into the middle of the team fight. Down goes Ana's Bear. They'll get rid of Zephyr as well.
No Bear for 95 seconds. They know this as well. They're just going to be able to move on forward, not anywhere close to being able to pick up a Refresher. And, I mean, you got all this net worth on the low Druid, but it is useless. He's basically playing on 5,000 net worth right now. Savage even getting the nice little Arcane Rune. He's going to be harassing even more with the time dilation or even just the push aspect. What a big fight. They got everything from that Roche as well. Refresher picked up by KP, I believe. They gave the cheese over to Savage. Aegis, of course, we saw have a big impact in that team fight. And they've even got the Scythe of Vice as well.
Thompson has to go absolutely crazy if they're going to be able to hold the base here. And that is difficult now because you're going into a Lotus Orb onto KP. So he can protect himself if he wants to charge in. Thompson, that's an aggressive blink. He's forced to pop a BKB as well. Thompson's in trouble. Ice Blast into the middle. The Grave's not going to do anything because it's out to the northern side. They get on top of the Dazzle. Thompson's down without a buyback. And Talon, I think they've done it. On to Cuckoo next. No space as Talon. They'll take over T1 territory. Your base is now mine.
Dire's middle tower
Oh, yes, it is. Not even bothering to go for the rack. Straight tier 4, says Savage. It might be... Yeah, he time walks back. Just the PTSD coming from previous qualifiers all the way back at TI9. He got all the way to Game 5 to be able to go to TI. He doesn't want to give it up again in a similar sort of fashion. Going for the safer play, but with no buybacks being expended, they're just going to want to go on forward. It's going to be all up to Zephyr and Ana to be able to defend this, bringing it to a Game 3, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
A jump in,
What a
Hail
remnant.
Mary attempt. Bye-bye Zephyr. He's got a buyback, but Savage,
Another chrono.
It's another out of the chrono, and this time it's onto the real hero, onto Ana at the front of the fountain. Now they'll go for Zephyr as well, and why not fountain dive against some players who are well known for it? Talon, what an incredible series. They are yet to drop a map in the TI qualifiers. They will book their ticket in the grand finals.
Big smiles coming all around, and very well worth it, right? And the thing that most impressed me is that they played it in the Talon style. These weren't 30-minute victories. These were games that they played on their terms, able to drag it out. Game 1, 56 minutes. This